Round 7 of the Wiesmann FIBT Skeleton Women's World Cup. We're at Königssee in Bavaria, and it is snowing here at this German track. We're into the third final part of our season, heading towards the World Championships and the Olympic trial event at Sochi that rounds out this winter's sliding. Hello everybody, I'm Martin Haven. Alongside me, Olympic champion John Montgomery of Canada. And John, the one thing that everybody wants to have in racing is equal conditions, and what the weather's doing now means that that's not always going to be possible.
No, it's not always the case when you get weather-affected races, but it's not going to continue, or it's not going to quit snowing before we finish this bad boy, I don't think. So they're going to be fairly even for everybody coming down. This is your third athlete, Marianne Thies, I believe at this point.
Sophia Griebel,
excuse
22
me.
years old.
Coming out of here, her second race on the World Cup Tour this year, and I think she did, and she will be much happier this week with her performance than she was last week in Altenburg. A good second showing for her, for sure.
Yeah, Sophia Griebel in third spot in a very tightly packed top group. 1500s covers the top 4. Just 300s covers the top 2.
Noelle here had a really good first run. I saw her between heats, and she said that she was actually keeping moving because her hamstrings were getting tight. We'll have to see on her second start whether or not that affects her ability to get that sled moving here. But she had a great first run, and she's going to be looking to hang on to a podium position today.
Well, if you catch the wrong patch of snow, anything could happen. But our first heat leader, Sarah Reid, looked super confident.
Oh, and what a blistering start she had on the first run. She's going to be super pumped with her physical start because she trained hard this week in preparation for World Championships next week. And she's had an amazing run, really good exit at Kreisel there that she can actually clean up a little bit. If you saw her just narrowly nick the wall there on the right-hand side, sent her a little bit low, she's got areas where she can find speed too. So she's looking to have even a better second run.
Well, 25-year-old Sarah Reid of Canada, already a race winner this season in Lake Placid, the season opener. Now, can she continue her success by hanging on in front? 1500s covers the top 4, and in these conditions, top 6 could all medal. So Anja Huber, Melissa Hollingsworth, not out of it, but further down the order, some more very close margins. And John, again, the snow could affect the second runs as much as the first.
Indeed, today we're going to see what can happen here on the second heat. There might be some leapfrogging, and things are always tighter here in Königssee. You can see between 14th and 1st, only a second separating the field, where in some instances you go to tracks and there's a second between 1st and 5th.
Well, 23 sliders started Heat 1. The fast 20 go through. There is Maria Orlova of Russia and her young teammate, the new Junior World Championship winner, Yelena Nikitina. And against her, you've got the more experienced athletes like Melissa Hollingsworth, your teammate here. Experience in these conditions, per se, has got to be a bit of an advantage here.
It's key. You've got to be calm on your sled, and when you are being pulled somewhere by snow, by water, the idea is to stay calm, stay confident, and do as little as possible to get your sled back on the heading and the trajectory that you want. You do too much, you're going to break away, and that's where experience really comes into play. And you'll see the more experienced sliders deal with adversity probably a little better than some of the newer sliders.
See the girls warming up in the area that's normally used for parking the bobsleighs pre-race, because of course the snow outside means the normal tarmac warm-up area is not really that safe. Maria Giordoni of Switzerland finished 20th in Heat 1. She'll be first to go as we go last to fast in Heat 2 to decide the gold medals in this 7th World Cup race of the Wiesmann FIBT Women's Skeleton season. And there are some girls down there in the lower reaches who definitely would expect to have been further up and will have an axe to grind. And when you get to the sharp end, well, really, with 1500s covering the top 4, it's anyone's game. Marianne Thies could easily win this. So could Noel Pikus-Pace or Sarah Reid or the rookie, Sophia Griebel.
She's going to be shooting for a good second run, and you know she's going to want to make amends for a less than ideal showing on one of her home tracks last week in Altenburg.
So 20 sleds to go to decide the gold medal here in Königssee, Bavaria. And from the cool, calm and snow-free start area, they blast off into the snow globe that is the oldest artificial ice track on the planet. Marina Giordoni of Italy. Huge start. She's got to find some tidy lines on the way down.
She's going to need every hundredth she can find on her blistering start at the top to be able to stay in front and do a little bit of leapfrogging here on the second one. Wow, a start record. Lindsay Alcock's start record just got beaten with a 4.95 getaway from Giordoni. What a blistering start on her second heat.
Well, Lindsay Alcock's start record set in the World Championships in 2004 has finally fallen. It's taken 8 years, Lindsay. I'm afraid somebody has wrestled it away at last.
With a one-handed start. One of the last few two-handed starts records that she had is now fallen. 1:13.3 coming into Kreisel is much better than her first run here. And if she can keep it together, oh, I spoke just a bit too soon there. With a poor exit of Kreisel, she's going to bleed some of that speed and energy. But she had a really good run going.
5 kilometers an hour up on her speed in the first heat, which is what really cost her so much. Again, it was mistakes out of the Kreisel. She'll have lost a lot of speed here, though. And we will see, although she has the lead now, Mickey Grunberger, the coach, not looking overjoyed with that. Giordoni, just with that top speed alone in the first part of the track, may pick up more places, though.
Well, she might want to get a lawn chair. She could be in the leader's box for a wee bit here. And with a second quicker on that second run, you could see how ecstatic she was. But look at her start record here. Putting the power into the ice, loads at the perfect spot, and a 4.95 getaway. Here is where she really cost herself some time. With a bit high exit on the exit of Kreisel, hitting on the right, getting pushed low, and subsequently a couple more contact points going through the doodles.
Maria Giordoni of Italy leads with a brand new track start record. Next up is 19-year-old Lelda Priedulena of Latvia. She is the youngest girl on tour and only in her first World Cup season. Raced just once in World Cup last year.
Not to be intimidated by that 4.95 start record she just saw. Let's see what she puts down.
Season's best result at 12th place last week. That's a confidence boost.
5.11 on the getaway. Not so bad. We might see that the track has sped up here just a little bit. With the amount of snow that they were clearing from the track, I think they did a really good job of prepping it for the second heat here.
Well, what about the fact that this girl comes from Latvia? You know, she tests and trains with the fastest male skeleton slider at the moment. The equipment is clearly first rate. That's got to help her progression.
It definitely expedites the whole process and maybe makes that learning curve just that less steep when you're getting involved in a sport where it's really cerebral. And you can see that she's having a really great execution here and driving some nice lines. Let's see how close she can get. 2600's back.
She's closing a little, and down at the bottom is where Giordoni lost speed. Closes to
there.
Quarter second behind, a 54.80. Well, Martins and Thomas Ducours and their father Dennis, who essentially are the Latvian skeleton team, with this young prodigy.
And she was quicker too, so that might be a trend that definitely continues here. And because these athletes were at the back of the bus on the first heat, I think they were really profoundly affected by the weather conditions, but a really nice look, and that's what some of the girls are going to want to see for their exits of Kreisel and their execution through the doodles there. That's the kind of line that you want to see, staying away from the top and bottoms of those two corners.
Well, you can only imagine how much this girl will progress in the next 4 or 5 years. You know, by the time we get to Korea in 2018, never mind Sochi, she could be a real front runner. Well, next up, Maria Mazilu, bronze medal recently in the Junior World Championships at Eagles, Austria, where we head next week in World Cup racing.
Powerful athlete, getting off the block really nice and quick. 5.12, same start getaway as Lil Day. Comes into corner one with a little less abrupt entry than Lil Day did there, but a really early entrance into S1, not an ideal entry.
Well, only started sliding in 2007. She's just 20 years old in her second season of the World Cup. Tiny margin of the lead.
400ths of a lead. A couple contact points coming through the bend away. 1:12.4 speed, a little bit slower than our race leader at this point. Let's see what kind of an exit she can have. Oh, contact on the right, but manages to navigate the rest of the doodles with relative ease.
Shows commendable calm of mind, and she's not too far away, losing barely anything else, but that brush on the wall may cost a tenth again. No, she really brought the speed. She almost caught her at the line. Marina Giordoni of Italy, the race leader. Maria Mazilu in second. And Lelda Priedulena of Latvia drops to the tail of the field. Well, a 54.77 slide compared to 55.56, so getting on for 3/4 of a second quicker, and that is just lack of snow.
Yeah, the first heat, they were really, I think, affected by the amount of snow that was accumulating in the track, and with the track crew here really doing a top-notch job getting it cleared away. I saw them taking out piles and piles of snow. these athletes are going to reap the benefits of that. But what you're going to see here on the second heat is the athletes like Sarah Reid probably slow down. Noelle Pikus pace probably slow down if the snow gets a chance to accumulate.
Janine Flock of Austria wasting no time in getting away immediately, and this is a factor in a snow race. The longer you stand at the top letting it snow, the slower the track will be when you eventually get onto it.
That light grows green, you got to get gone. Nice late line entry into S1 here, nice and high and smooth. You don't hear her sled scraping onto the corners, and that's a really good sign.
Well, John, she started first heat 5:12, 5:04 second getaway, so the start's a little clearer too.
But she had a poor execution of her S4 exit there. But wow, 114.8 speed coming into Kreisel. I really think it's picked up because she shouldn't have had that kind of speed coming down the straightaway without keeping her runners as parallel as she would have liked.
Heading home to Austria after this race, so if she goes in on a high with a really good second run, and look at this, nearly a second ahead of our leader, so over a second quicker than her first run. Goodness me.
Definitely things are picking up, and so what you'll see is some of the other athletes who managed to keep their runners straight coming out of S4 with even higher speeds than what we've seen from Janine Flock here on her second run.
But a good run from Janine, 1.3 seconds quicker.
Wow, really impressive speed coming into Kreisel, doing very little work to navigate through the corner, being able to maintain all that momentum that she had. She gets really high there, which tells you that she's not doing a lot.
Well, she looks a little happier with that, doesn't she?
Oh, she should be. With a second advantage over the next placed athlete, she's putting the pressure on Lizzie Arnold here for her second go.
Well, like Janine Flock, Lizzie Arnold really shouldn't be struggling down in the high teens. She should be up in the single digits. She had a very disappointing first run.
She's going to be amped up and ready to go. Let's see what she can do for a start.
Well, Janine's 5:04. She'll need to get close to matching that, if not quicker.
5:01, wow. Much quicker than her first start, but really early into S1. The girls are coming in a bit hard and scraping onto the first corner.
Well, she made just about every mistake in the book on the first run. She's got to just freeze now and let the sled go.
Take that hit. Really nice line. Much better than Janine Flock. Let's see what her speed is comparatively. 114.1.
Okay.
Same ballpark.
114.8 for the Austrian. She's going to drop back a fraction and more.
And she is maybe going to lose more ground at the bottom of the track here to Janine Flock. She's going to have another opportunity to pick up a spot.
Back down to second place. Lizzie Arnold, 1400s back. Again, massive improvement on her first run, but not enough. And she closes to 1300s at the line, a 54.03 slide. What did she run in the first heat? 55.24. So again, 1.2 seconds quicker.
And being second overall in the World Cup points, she's in the hunt for a Crystal Globe here, and this is not going to do her any favors with a lackluster performance here in Koenigsee. Really lost a lot of momentum and speed here at the bottom of the track with this high exit of Kreisel, hitting the right-hand wall and sending her topsy-turvy and then to the bottom of the track right there.
You have a bruised right shoulder. And woke up having a nightmare about spiders last night. Well, that tells you about athleticism. I couldn't possibly tell. Now then, 20-year-old junior world champion Yelena Nikitina. And this girl is a real firecracker, John. She's a massive hope for Russia's future in skeleton.
She's got the physical attributes. If she gets to be a little bit stronger, you're going to see her with the Alex Trechikov, her fellow countryman on the men's side, type starts. 5:02. Nice fast getaway. That 4.95 might be broken again by some of the other athletes towards the top of the pack here.
We're absolutely right. And she does seem to really have a bit of a feeling for the ice as well.
She can take this left-hand hit here and keep those runners parallel and straight with staying off those other walls. We might see some really good speed right here.
Looking for 114.8. She's 114.1, same as Lizzie Arnold. So 7/10 down on Janine Flock of Austria, the leader.
Not so shabby. Nice looking exit there. Keeping it low through the doodles. Got to carry this height all the way around Jenner Curve at the bottom of the track. Excuse me, Echo on.
Still 1700s back. She's lost almost nothing since exiting the Kreisel. That was all on the straightaway. Well, Billy Schneider could do with smiling a little maybe there.
You'd be hard-pressed to get one out of him, I think, maybe. Dropping 2 spots isn't what he was looking for. He was really hoping that his athlete could maintain her positioning, but she did drop a couple spots to a really solid second run by Janine Flock.
Well, and there you see that she's disappointed with that, not to be moving up, and that's exactly the attitude you want.
You always want to do better.
Eric Benotas holds the sled for Lucy Chaffer of Australia. 28-year-old from Perth in Western Australia. And there is your race leader, Janine Flock of Austria.
Give a thumbs up to doing a couple leapfrogs there, taking a few spots from some other athletes.
Might be some more to come as well.
I think so.
Well, let's see. Pressure on then, Lucy Chaffer. Now, she had start draw number 2, John, so I wonder whether that was a disadvantage or an advantage.
Might have affected her on the first heat. She's going to be definitely looking to improve, and we can find out whether it was the weather or whether it was her ability to get down the track in a speedy fashion. Nice high line. She's really executing well in S1, S2, and really getting it up there in S3. 4,200's down already after the start.
Wow.
See what kind of speed she brings in here. Not the kind of speed that she was hoping to have and that she needs really to be competitive here at the bottom of the track. Breaking out a little bit in Kreisel is definitely going to impede her ability to climb those ranks and compete with Janine Flock at this point.
Well, the slowest start before her was a 5:12. Almost nobody has been out of single digits, so she's really giving away time at the top to those girls that started behind her.
Time you just can't afford to give away on a short track like this.
54.49 slide again. You know, in any ordinary terms, that's a big improvement on a 55.18, but here, not enough to keep her in the ballpark.
Not today.
She drops down to 4th place out of the 7 girls who've gone so far.
Coming here through the bottom, Echo One there. She skidded her sled in Kreisel, really causing the athlete to lose traction with the track and a lot of momentum that they've built up to that point with no opportunity to get it back. And with that hit on the right-hand side there coming out of Echo One at the bottom, that's just a nail in the coffin. It's a game changer, and you can't ever get it back going uphill at that point. It was written all over her face right there. She's really disappointed with that go.
Cassie Haresh of Canada, 28-year-old.
Doing the donkey kicks on the line there. She is pumped up. She really wants the second run.
She wants to get those spikes buried in deep into that starting block.
Really ran it deep there. That's the kind of push that you want. You want to get over that crest and accelerate downhill. She loaded at the appropriate spot there with a 5:18 getaway. Not sure if some of those groove lines are starting to fill up with some snow. 200s, yeah, Martin. We're already tight, so she's really got to have a good go here to get back ahead of Janine Flock. 1,500's back already, really slowing down. Weather might be starting to affect things here.
Yeah, and I wonder what runners she might have chosen.
You only get to pick the runners at the beginning of the race. Between runs, you cannot change your runners. You can't really do anything except change your rock. And so the choices you make at the beginning of the day affect you for the balance of the day. And with a bit of a rough ride there through the exit of Kreisel and through the Doodles, she is not going to be hanging on to her position here, and Janine Flock is going to pick up yet another spot at the bottom of the track.
Well, 4/10 back. Everybody at the moment is slipping into 4th place. So she slips into 4th, and Janine is going to have to ride her luck. You know, that's that weather expression you see from people in the leader's box for such a long while going, well, you know, what can I do? There's nothing.
You give the shrug, and Janine was really the benefit of some good timing, being in well position last week in Altenburg to move up in the rankings. And the snow is starting to really accumulate, so we might see athletes start to drop.
Right foot slips off the block there.
She slipped off the block, Martin, you're right. She loses contact with that drive leg, really impeding her ability to get that first driving step, which accelerates the sled to maximum velocity as quick as possible.
Well, first time here in Bavaria, and
giving a shout out to Mum and Dad in Brandon, Manitoba.
Absolutely. Next up, Olga Potilitsina. Spent last week in Eagles, the scene of so far her only World Cup race win, where we head next week. 5:09. Now her starting is really getting quicker and quicker.
Well, once you see her get to the bottom of the track, you're going to see the jury really pump them through quickly. They're trying to get this race over as quick as possible because they recognize that it's not getting any faster and that the weather is starting to affect the downtimes.
What they don't want to have to do is end up cancelling the race once you get 2/3 of the way through the heat.
Not at all.
A lot of legwork going on the straight.
Ooh, and it cost her some speed. 110.8. She's going to be down, and Janine Flock is going to get yet another spot. 4,400s back by the exit of Kreisel. Oh.
From a 10th up, that was half a second just on the straightaway in the Kreisel.
And you can't attribute that to the snow, Martin. A lot of that has to do with simple execution and bad lines, and she just was doing way too much through the bend away to be able to have any kind of speed or hope of hanging on to her spot.
Well, she had the sort of foot movements that Michael Jackson would have been proud of down that straight. I mean, that's never a good thing when you see the legs flailing.
Doing the moonwalk isn't ideal. No, that's not fast. Janine there, you know, she's getting a bit tired, probably having to stand up, waving to the camera as many spots as she's picking up.
Bless her. I'm sure she'll live with it. 16th equal in the first heat, and at the moment, with 11 to go, she still leads as Olga Potylitsina comes up short.
Exit of S4 here. She gets a little bit to the right already, squirrely, takes her hit, but then doesn't manage it as well as she would have liked. She takes another hit there, starts skidding, and goes sideways and late, going 110.8. That's 4K down from the race leader at this point. We'll got to see if this type of trend continues.
Well, let's see from the experienced Katie Eulander of the USA, 28-year-old, double race winner already this season.
She'll be a good litmus test to figure out how things are going here and if this race is really slowing down as much as it seems. With a 5:09 getaway, she's got 3/10 in the bank here. By the exit of Kreisel, she should at least have that kind of a margin of a lead still. She's already lost 3/100ths of a second. Really nice looking lines through the S-curves here. Good hit. This will be the telltale sign here. 113.3, quite a bit slower than Janine Flock already. She's going to be coming out, and I suspect we're going to see another spot picked up by Janine here. Only 1,300s in the bank, and with the kind of heading that Janine had coming into Kreisel, this might be a race that will be in the books as a one-heat race. 2/10, she's picked it back up with a really nice exit of Kreisel.
Well, now that's really good. She got through the lower labyrinth in one piece, and she takes the lead, 54.05. And I think any thoughts that the jury might have been influenced into calling this off may just have receded.
And she was first off. She's really excited with that. She knows that she's done better. Kind of the same execution, but she's going to be disappointed with her first seed draw on the first heat. She thinks that was the real reason why she's not as fast today. But she only had the third fastest run on the second heat here. But with the margin that she had at the top, she was able to hang on to her positioning, being first after the second heat. Both feet sideways on the left-hand side of the sled there. She keeps those runners going straight, but uses her legs for balance.
Working really hard for that. Next up, Catherine Eustace of New Zealand. Another electrifying starter who just fell into too many of the traps here at Koenigsee in the first heat.
A lot of work for these athletes to do to hang on to their spots here. Bit of a rough load on her sled there. She tends to lose traction a little bit. I noticed twice last week in Altenburg with a really inefficient last step there. She may just have experienced it again on this second run here at Koenigsee today. 700's down already. Pretty nice run out of exit of S4 there, but she really starts to lose control and is skidding all over the place. She's going to be less than 111 here right now with 110.6 for speed. Not what she needs to hang on to spots, and she might lose more than one or two.
Well, she's already dropped from second down to fifth position, and that run through the labyrinth isn't going to help.
There's just no other spots at the bottom of this track, Martin, to be able to get spots back, especially when you start going uphill after Echo 1 there. She took a clip out of that corner, too.
Down to seventh place, might be ninth at the line. It is last almost at the line. Seventh equal with Olga Potylitsina, just 3 sliders behind her. And Catherine Eustace was in 10th place after Heat 1. 9 to go, and she's in joint 7th. Not the way that she wanted the second heat to run.
Definitely a disappointing result for a really quite a good first run here. But coming into Kreisel, coming out of Kreisel, just way too much loss of control, not keeping those runners parallel, and really losing speed and bleeding energy. Disappointed look on her face, and rightfully so. Seeing a 7 when you come across the finish line is pretty devastating.
9 sleds to go here in Koenigsegg. Martin Haven and Olympic champion John Montgomery watching the action in the 7th Women's World Cup race of the season. This is Australia's Michelle Steele.
Steely's going to be battling through the snow. Not ideal race conditions for her, being the smallest female athlete on tour. But she does get to compensate and put some of that weight in her sled, so it's not a total loss. And she does get to take advantage of aerodynamic proficiency, being that much more aerodynamic because she is simply that much more small. Nice line out of S4, but she didn't take a hard enough hit. She took 2 instead of 1, which is going to affect her speed coming in here. But 1:14.6, wow, I spoke too soon. That is the best speed we've seen in the second heat. Except for Janine Flock.
Well,
It was
she
1:14.8.
is now turning a deficit into a tiny advantage. Got clean through the wriggles in the lower labyrinth.
Ooh, a bit of a small clip there, but that 2/10 is going to definitely hang tight to the finish line here, and this will be your new race leader.
She will take the lead, 53.75. This track is starting to give up some speed. That's quicker than anybody in the first heat managed.
She's got the fastest run and her first positioning kept all together. That's a really nice execution, really nice run by Michelle Steele on the second go-round. And being as light as she is, maybe we spoke too soon about this being a really profoundly weather-affected race.
Winterberg, Germany, her best result, 5th place.
Another two-handed start, really nice load. You see her get that last foot, her last foot that strikes the ice really into it, getting good drive and good momentum, propelling herself down the track and out of the spur for increased velocity coming out of the spur.
Katie Uhlaender offering her congratulations to new leader Michelle Steele. So, 8 to go. This is Maria Oliver, the Russian. And Maria still just 24 years old,
Hitting the wall before the entrance of the first curve is tough to deal with. You know that you have to be absolutely perfect for the rest of the track.
Well, she was going for the huge start, 5:05, but paid the price with control.
Taking a few knocks, taking a few bits of contact here with the sides of the short walls there. And still 112.4 for speed. So what could have been competitive in the 114s has turned into a 112.4. And she's already a quarter second back at the exit of Kreisel with a rough run through the doodles.
Yeah, this is going to double her deficit to over half a second, surely, before she gets to the line.
Easy, good call. Oh, already.
Yike.
Going to be a second back here when she crosses the finish line for Michelle Steele.
Again, just as well the finish line's not too much further uphill, though she might not have made it. So little speed on board. 54.73. Michelle came down a second quicker in a sport that we measure in hundredths for a very good reason.
Really goes to show, just qualifies how good Michelle Steele's second run was.
Well, they were 500ths of a second apart in the first heat. This is where it all went wrong.
Separates them. It was all good to hear, and she comes out of the spur, and it's been sending a few athletes left out of the spur all week long just because of the shape of the ice, but hers gets wiggled a little bit, sends her right over, and that was pretty much all she wrote right there.
Looks like she wasn't quite ready for it, Maria Oliver.
Didn't expect that, not at all.
Shelley Rudman of Great Britain, last year's race winner on this track, but from 6/10 off the lead very nearly, has the World Cup champion, the Crystal Globe winner of last season, got a chance to get in among the medals here again.
She's going to be looking for some redemption here on the second go. Let's see what kind of a start she gets. 5:23, 13th fastest start. Definitely not what we saw from Shelley Rudman last year, and I think probably still feeling the ill effects of that awful flu that she had last week. Really losing some strength at a poor time of the year to have that happen to oneself.
Yeah, she says her head's clear, but the body feels like jelly, so she's got no strength at all, the strength of a baby. But
she's
still
got a nice line through the straightaway with 1:15.6. Wow, exceptional speed coming through there. What we should have seen from her on the first run, but didn't. 800ths of an advantage, and she should be able to hang on to that with a decent exit of Kreisel and that massive heading she had in there. 1:15.6 is exceptional.
Well, the advantage of a body that feels like jelly is it's what you need to be smooth on the sled. She's 100th back. Can she get into the lead in the final corner? She's tied.
She will take that. A tie is as good as the lead. You don't care if you got to share that leader's box with somebody as long as you not got to pass it by and say, congratulations on beating me.
Well, after a wretched day in the rain in Altenburg where she slumped to 16th place, she'll be happy with that.
Just to be done, I suspect Shelley will be happy that she can go on, get another week's rest under her belt, and you can see through Kreisel here doing very, very little. But coming in, she had a massive heading of 1:15.6 with great top of the track, and then gets those legs apart there. A bit of a panic steer. She could have probably had the leader's box to herself had she had a bit more energy-efficient exit of Kreisel there, but she dropped that toe hard and skidded the sled a little bit.
Game on now as Melissa Hollingsworth from 6th position aims to try and get in among the medals here in Koenigsegg, Bavaria. Bronze last year.
This is one of the tracks that Melissa has had a lot of success on. Year in, year out, she seems to be a podium favorite here today. Off the podium right now, but with 2,500s in the bank, she's going to be looking to maintain her position and hopefully move up a couple. Really nice top of the tracks, nice and smooth coming out of the S-curves.
Much less snow on the right-hand side than there was earlier, and it doesn't seem to have slowed her.
1:15.8, 0.2 kilometers an hour faster than the current leader, Shelley Rudman, and what looked to be a little better exit for me from the exit of Kreisel there, doing very little work to get through and didn't drop that toe. She will be your new race leader if she can keep the shiny bits down coming out of the bottom curve here, getting pushed over a little bit off the exit, but with 4/10 in the bank, I think Melissa's going to be looking to move up a few.
Yeah, that's not going to stop her taking the lead, but will that bump on the wall down in Echo be enough maybe to push her out of the medals? It was a really strong slide.
Definitely pseudo-podium worthy, and we call the pseudo-podium top 6 because they do recognize the top 6 athletes here. She's happy with that one. She's been sick all week, too, to the doctor's office a couple times, and maybe that was what plagued her on her first run, but I think she got some redemption that she was looking for on the second heat here. Really good speeds, and here she takes a good clip out of Echo 1 at the bottom of the track there on the right-hand side and pushes her over late to the second last corner.
Well, Melissa will join me in the booth for the final heat tomorrow as the men are racing. But what can the local heroine do? Anja Huber from Bischofswiesen, just outside Berchtesgaden. This is home for her. Can she find salvation? 5th in the first heat. A medal is not beyond her reach, but she does need a good run here.
She needs to put it all together here from the start to the bottom of the track. Exit Kreisel, got to get through the bend away and stay off that right-hand wall at the exit of Echo 1. You do those things, and Anja will be a threat for the podium. 5:12 getaway. Not the type of performance that we're used to seeing from Anja Huber, who is usually a perennial favorite for being the fastest starter in a race. Smooth lines through the S-curves. Let's see what she can do here through the bend away. Got to get that hit off the left-hand wall. Oh, narrowly squeaking by.
Up to 1:16. No, 1:15 flat.
1:15 flat, fastest speed so far. Really nice line through Kreisel to the exit. 1100s in the bank. She is challenging Melissa right down to the finish line on this one. Still 1100s. She should get it.
And same rub on the wall as Melissa Hollingsworth. Will she be a 10th in front? No, opens it up a little. Fastest run we've seen down this track so far.
She'll be pleased with that one. You could see some disappointment on Melissa's face, really hoping that she could move up and strengthen her overall standings with a better performance here today. But she's going to have to be satisfied with around 6th so far. We've got 5 more sliders to come, and they can definitely drop back too. But Anja's pleased with that one.
So Anja Huber has the lead here in Berchtesgaden. Home crowds.
Waving to all of her fans. I'm sure they all know her by name.
And possibly vice versa here as well. There are so many dedicated fans. Big start, but maybe no longer the biggest.
Well, and you know what? It could be a factor of her periodization of her training. We have in 2 weeks' time the biggest race of the year, and this is the time where you do a lot of volume to really make sure that you're the fastest when it matters most.
Now then, Marion Thies of Germany just off the podium in 4th place. 1,500 separated the top 4 in the first heat. 5.31. Well, that's got the worst of her race out of the way, which is the start.
Now for her best part, the driving. Let's see if she can bring it home and catch her teammate Anja Huber, who's currently standing in the leader's box, waiting for her result. Beautiful line out of S4, right down the pipe. She's going to take her hit. Oh, and probably the best line we've seen. She's going to be close to 116 speeds here. 115.8, no question. 0.8 kilometers an hour better, and this could be enough. If she gets through the doodles here, very nice line. And that 10th is going to quickly disappear. She did very little work through Kreisel and had beautiful doodle section. Stay off the right-hand wall here at the exit of Echo 1. 1/100th, it's going to come down to the line.
For 16 corners, and she is in front on the 17th and last.
Exit of Echo 1 to the finish line, picks up 11/100ths of a second.
Jens Muller going, oh, he can't believe she did that there. 16 corners of 17 she was catching, and then she overhauled Anja Huber to take the lead. But there are still 3 sleds to go. Neither of the German girls may yet take a medal.
Marion showing you why she's wearing the leader's bib right now, the gold bib that says World Cup leader, because she can drive like nobody's business. Nice through the S-curves here, and that was probably the best line we've seen from the exit of S4 out of any of the athletes. Straight down the pipe, not having to work for it, takes her hit on the left-hand side and threads the needle through the rest of Bendaway.
So 3 to go, and still a German shot at the medal from young Sophia Griebel, the silver medalist in the Junior Worlds, and look at the leg speed this girl has got as well.
These 3 athletes battle each other for positions on the team, and I'm sure Sophia was beaten here in the fall by her other 2 countrymen because she wasn't on the World Cup until she replaced one of the other teammates at Christmas time. So she's going to be looking for some sweet redemption perhaps, and show them why she belongs here at the highest caliber racing circuit in the world.
Well, you know, this is one of the toughest teams to break into, and when you get into the German World Cup squad, you know you're good.
And she's not going to do with that. She will lose time there. 1:12.8, that's almost 3 kilometers back of Anja Huber at this point, and Marion Thies, and she will drop behind both of her teammates at this point.
Down to 4th place, out of the medals for Sophia Griebel.
Got to be a disappointing second run for her, but she's just trying to get across that finish line at this point. She's got more work to do, and she's got to stop the bleeding.
Too many corners left. Will she drop behind Michelle Steele and Shelley Rudman? No, she does not. But Marion Thies takes another medal. She's had 2 wins, a silver and a bronze so far this year. And she has now guaranteed herself her 5th World Cup medal of the year. As Sophia Griebel can't find the pace here in Heat 2.
Her coaches know that she's got it within her to be that competitive athlete that they want her to develop into. She's just got to take some time to get rid of those jitters and be able to execute like she wants to. And here's where it all fell apart. Coming down the Bendaway, she's skidding, she's tiptoe tapping, and she does not thread the needle. Getting the bump late into BK before Kreisel, and bleeding all of her speed. 1:12.8 just simply isn't even within the realms of competitiveness when your fellow teammates are putting down close to 1:16.
The familiar pink of Noelle Piker-Space, second after the first heat, a 30-year-old who retired from the sport and has come back this season as though she just spent the last 2 years in the gym, not raising her family.
Well, 5:17 start for her is, I think, a little bit hampered by some tight hamstrings at this point, but with 3/10 of a lead at this point, she should be able to hang on to that, and it's climbing. 3/400ths. Let's see what her speed is. It should be really good coming into Kreisel here.
We're going to see 1:17s,
1:16.1. Holy dynamite, that is fast.
Noelle Piker-Space just 300ths of a second off the lead in the first heat. This is her shot for the first win in, what, 3-4 years?
Oh, and that was a sweet line out of the exit of Kreisel. Coming out of the bottom Echo 1, 4/10ths in the bank. She is definitely making a statement to the 2 athletes in front of her that she wants this race. 53:34. Those are similar times that we were seeing in training all week long.
That is a dry line time in a snow race from Noelle Piker-Space. Kids,
yeah.
Mummy's going to come home with a medal, and I think it's going to be gold.
I think that's not even a very bold statement, Martin. I think that's a pretty safe bet. I mean, Sarah Reed definitely has it within her to stay in front of her, especially because she's going to have the advantage on the start. But, man, did Noelle Piker-Space make a statement with that run saying that I want this medal.
Okay, somebody now Google Noelle Piker-Space's last race win. You've got a minute. Sarah Reed is getting ready to defend her first round lead. 5:08 getaway to lead by 300ths after heat 1. Look, her teammates up at the top banging on the hoardings.
This is going to be a really good test for Sarah to see if she can hold it together and do what she wants to do in spite of the pressure that's been put on her by the athlete in front of her.
Well, she beat teammate Melissa Hollingsworth and Marion Thies in the season opener in Lake Placid.
Nice looking start there. That was powerful and long. 5:09, so she's got already an additional 800ths over Noelle Pikus pace on the start.
The advantage of 300s now up to 1600s, and if Noelle could find a snow-free run, maybe Sarah Reid can too.
Nice exit of S4. Oh no! And that is
Triple tap.
That is not going to be what she needed with the 112.4 speed coming in here. What Sarah's looking for right now is to hang on to a medal position on the podium.
And Marion Thies and Anja Huber may end up on the podium. Sarah Reid's already down to 3rd spot. Can she cling on to that last medal?
She had a really good looking exit there, but with 6,200s back already, this is not going to be a podium day. It will be a top 6, but 5th place for Sarah Reid, crossing the line 0.9 seconds back, and it fell apart in Bendaway, and she knows exactly where it happened.
Well, she tried to take the hit exactly right. It didn't work for her. What did work, though, was for Noelle Pikus pace. She had one of the best runs you'll see down this track, conditions or not.
Really beautiful line coming out of S4. She was doing exactly what she wanted to do, but takes that hit and doesn't get far enough away from the wall, doesn't get the turn that she was looking for to thread the needle. And 2 subsequent hits after that one is a game changer. That's it. And Melissa Hollingsworth is giving her a bit of condolence there at the finish line, saying, I know, sweetie, I feel your pain. Neither of us did what we want to do today, but Noelle Pikus pace, happy as punch.
Noelle Pikus pace, her first race win this season, her first race win in 3 years. She's been away from the sport.
And man, is she happy.
Hard to find fault as well. It looked like she had just no snow.
No snow at all, and you can tell that she didn't get as far as she would have liked, and that last step there on her load might have been a result of some tight hamstrings, but what an excellent, excellent execution of the exit of Kreisel there, doing virtually nothing through the doodles and going right through the middle.
Well, we said it a couple of times. She's already had 2 third-place finishes in 3 starts. She's back, baby. That's the first win of the year for Noelle Pikus pace.
She's building momentum towards St. Moritz at World Championships, where the last time that she raced there at a World Championships, she was your world champion.
She is our 5th different winner in women's skeleton in 7 races. And Noelle Pikus pace makes it look like nobody else had a shot. 4/10 ahead of Marion Thies, half a second against Hopetown Queen Anja Huber. Mel Hollingsworth, Sarah Reid, both in the top 6 for Canada. And young Sophia Griebel hangs on to that 6th place ahead of Shelley Rubman and Michelle Steele. Well, entertaining times. We'll hear what they thought right after this.
Meine Damen und Herren, ladies and gentlemen. So, kurzer Stimmungstest. Wie geht's euch? Ich kann euch nicht hören. Wie geht es euch? So, nach langen Worten, meine Damen und Herren, ladies and gentlemen, Siegerin, Winner, erster Platz, representing the United States of America, Noelle Pikus pace! Die Blumen werden über
As snowy Königssee in Bavaria sees Noelle Pikus-Pace win her first race in, well, a number of years in women's skeleton after 2 dominant runs. Well, let's get down and hear what our top 3 thought of it there with John Morgan.
And our flower ceremony here in the heartland of Bavaria. Andreas Trautberger, the president of the German Bobsled Skeleton and Luge Federation, presents the flowers. Noelle Pikus-Pace, the winner. And now I step in 3rd place is Anja Huber. Okay, and now our interviews with the medalists. Anja, 3rd place in the tough weather conditions in a track you always do well, so you have to be happy.
I am pretty happy to be back on the podium. So it was a tough race with the weather conditions weren't really good with the snow and all, but everybody had the same conditions. But congrats to Noelle, it was a pretty good race.
Congratulations on the medal. Now over to Marion, 2nd place, another track that you always do well on. The snow affect the race for you?
Yeah, I think it was a really difficult race today, and I'm happy to be on the podium again, and well done, because it was good.
And Noelle Pikus-Pace, do you realize how fast you were in the Kreisel in the 2nd run?
I actually didn't. With the snow, it's a little difficult to tell if you're doing well or not, but this is my first win since 2004, and I just feel great and feel like I'm back and better than ever. So it's just, I just have to say thanks to my coaches and trainers and the team, and it's just been a kind of trial of a week, and they've all come together and made this happen. So thanks to my family and everybody cheering me on, supporters. Woo! Go USA! Woo!
Enjoy the moment. Congratulations.
Since 2004, John Montgomery, 9 years. Oh, right, major injury and 2 years retired, but...
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, I can't imagine that it's been that long since she won a race, but now she is the only athlete that has an opportunity to win 100,000 euros on the women's side.
Yeah, the triple trophy. It'll be decided if a racer wins here in Königssee, in Eagles next week, and the final World Cup race in Sochi, they will win 100,000 euro in any of the 5 disciplines. Well, she won 500 for the fastest slide in the team competition pre-Christmas. They went to Disneyland Paris with the family. If she wins 100,000, we're not going to see her for 12 months.
That's got to be around the world tour for sure.
Well, listen, my thanks to John Montgomery for his words of wisdom. He'll be racing tomorrow, and you can join us for all the action from the rest of this weekend in Königssee. Thanks to John Morgan and the rest of the FIBT TV crew here, and to you two for joining us. From me, Martin Haven, for the moment, it's goodbye and auf Wiedersehen.